everyone, this video is going to be about slope-intercept form. Our goal today is that you can graph a line in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form will be something that is used throughout 8th grade math and Algebra 1 and is our number one go-to way for graphing a line on the coordinate plane. We're going to get started. This video follows directly along with the guided notes that are posted with the video in the assignment, as well as a separate assigned file in the online school. So let's start with what is slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is the formula y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. This is a very, very important formula to know, and it is a formula you will need for the rest of your school career. You will use this formula in 9th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and in furthering your education. So what is the elements of this formula? Well, the first thing is m, and we all know from our lessons on slope that m is the way we represent slope. So m is our slope, okay? The next thing we have is B, and B is going to be our y-intercept. It's going to be our y-intercept, which is where a line crosses the y-axis. So what we have here is we have our slope, and we have our y-intercept. Now, x and y are going to remain in the equation, and they represent any possible points on the line. So these are this is the equation for any line that's going to be graphed on the coordinate plane. You need to know this formula. I would suggest writing this on your mirror with your slope formula and making sure you have it committed to memory. So before we dive into the whole formula, let's talk about what is the y-intercept. So we said the slope-intercept formula gives you a slope and an intercept, and we said that intercept is the y-intercept. So what is the y-intercept? This is a definition for your guided notes. The y-intercept is the place where a line crosses the y-axis. We refer to the y-intercept as the letter B. I'm not sure why we use the letter B, but we use the letter B. Okay, so our y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. At the y-intercept, our x value will always be 0. So at my y-intercept, x will always be 0. In this example, my y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. So the y-intercept is 0, 5. Okay, and the x value at y will always be 0. So this is all important information to write down. I really need you to write down this definition and this little fact about the y-intercept. You can pause the video to write this down if you need to. So let's look at some examples of finding the y-intercept because we have to be really good at doing this to progress in this lesson. So for all three of these, we want to find the y-intercept of B. What is B? Where is this line crossing the y-axis? So remember, our y-axis is always our vertical axis up and down, and our x-axis is our horizontal axis left to right. All right, and we're going to focus on our y-axis. So this first one, this one crosses down 2. So the y-intercept, if it's down 2, is going to be -2. So this crosses at -2. Okay, our next one, the y-intercept, crosses right at the origin. So here our y-intercept is 0. And our last one, the y-intercept crosses up 2. So our y-intercept is +2. So these are all three examples of finding the y-intercept from a graph. You can look at it and see it immediately. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So now that we know how to find the y-intercept and we know how to find where the line crosses the y-axis, we're going to look at how do we actually work out these equations now. What do we need to do? So the first thing we need to do is we need to be able to identify m and b. So we need to be able to find the slope of a slope-intercept equation. So to do that, first thing was we always make sure the equation is in slope-intercept form. We always make sure it's solved for y. So it's always going to be y equals mx plus b before I choose these values. Then we state m and the slope, and then if we state b, the y-intercept. So in this first example, it is in slope-intercept form. So we look at it, it matches up perfectly with y equals mx plus b. So we just literally match up what we've got here. So M is 2/3 and B, now notice the formula is plus B, but this is a -4. So B is going to be a -4. B is going to be a -4. Okay. So what I want y'all to do is take a minute. I want you to pause this video. I'm going to pause this video. I want you guys to try 2 and 3 all by yourself. Try to identify M and B. Okay, so you should have paused the video and answered these questions. So for number 2, we got that the M, or the slope, was -5. And if you needed to, you could say -5/1 because we know slope is rise over run. And B, the y-intercept, is 3, positive 3. Example 3 is a little trickier. The slope, you're like, there's nothing in front of x. Well, there is something in front of x. There is a 1, and it is understood to be there. So whenever we see just x, we know that it is 1. So my slope is 1, and my y-intercept is -6. That's a -6. So that's how we identify M and B. We're going to take this, and now we're going to apply this to actually graphing in slope-intercept form. So I have a couple more examples to try if you want to. Actually, I forgot about these. So I'll pause it real quick and let you guys try these 3 as well. All right, so if you tried these 3, you should have gotten that the slope for the first one was 1/4, and the y-intercept was -6. The slope for the second one was -2, and the y-intercept was 5. The slope for C was 4, and the y-intercept, you're like, well, there is no B, so the y-intercept is 0. That means this one's going to cross to the origin. Okay. All right, so how do we actually graph using slope-intercept form? It is very easy. First thing we have to do is find the slope and the y-intercept. Then we're going to plot the y-intercept and use the slope to count to the second point. Okay, and then we're going to connect the 2 points. It is that easy. So we're going to start with our formula y equals mx plus b. And we're going to look at this equation. All right, so in the place of m is 1/2. So m is 1/2, or slope is 1/2, and in the place of b is -1. So my y-intercept is -1. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the y-intercept. We always start here, okay? So I'm going to go to -1, and I'm going to put a point. Okay, and now my slope is 1/2, so that means I'm going to rise 1 and I'm going to run 2. So I'm going to go rise 1 and I'm going to run 1, 2, and I'm going to put a point. Okay, so I rise 1, run 2, put a point. That is all I need. 2 points make a line. If you really wanted to, you could rise 1 again and run 2 again and put a second point. So now we have 3 points for our line. You can put as many points as you want to, as long as you are following the correct rise over run. Okay, so then all we're going to do, when my line is really bad, so let me straighten that out, is we're going to graph our line. Awesome. And I need to fix this little point. It's a little bit low. There we go. So this is how we graph a line in slope-intercept form. It is this easy. It's a matter of identifying M, identifying B, and graphing the line. So let's try another one together. This one is y equals 3x. So we need to identify y equals mx plus b. All right, m is 3. Easy. B, there is no B, so we're going to assume that B is 0. So we're going to start at B. We're going to start at our y-intercept, and this y-intercept is 0, so this means this is crossing through the origin. Now, you're like, well, I want to do the slope, but the slope you said is rise over run, and this is just a 3. Well, we understand that this 3 is over a 1, so we're going to rise 3, and we're going to run 1. So we're going to take our arrow, we're going to count up 1, and then run, or up 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to run 1, and that's where my next point is, right here. And 2 points make a line, so that is all I need now to graph my line straight through these points. I can get my little line tool to work. Let's try it this way. Okay, and that is how we graph a line. So next, what I want you guys to do, well, I'll do this last one with you, then we'll try one more by yourself. So this one is y equals negative x minus 4. So we need to identify m and we need to identify b. So in this formula, what's in the place of b is negative 4. So it's a minus 4, so our y-intercept is negative 4. Our slope is a little trickier. Our slope, there's a negative in front of x. There's a negative in front of the x, but there's nothing else. So that means it is negative 1. We can say negative 1 over 1 if we want it to make sure we have the rise and the run. We're going to go down to negative 4. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 and put a point. And my slope is negative 1. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Notice this line has a negative slope. It is decreasing, and my equation had a negative slope. That's a great way to check if you're doing this the right way, is that your line needs to match your equation. All right, if your equation has a negative slope, your line should be decreasing. It should be nice and negative. Okay. So what I want us to do is I want you guys to take a second and try this one. I want everyone to try this equation by yourself. Graph this equation on your own. Okay, so for this equation, you should have gotten m is negative 3, and you can put it over 1 if you want to, and b is 5. So we start by going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and putting a point on the y-intercept, because this is our y-axis. And then our slope is negative 3, so we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, right 1. You want to do it again, you go down 1, 2, 3, right 1. If you really, really wanted to, you could go up 3, up 1, 2, 3, which you're like, wait a minute, that's positive. But then I could go back 1, which is going to keep this a negative move. So the big thing to remember is if your slope is negative and you go up, then you have to go left because it's a positive move and a negative move, which will keep the slope negative. Okay. The next one I want you to try is this number 5. I want you guys to try 3/4 x minus 8. Y equals 3/4 x minus 8. I'm going to pause the recording. I want you guys to try this one by yourself. All right, so you guys should see here that the slope is 3/4 and the y-intercept was negative 8. So I'm going all the way down to negative 8 on the y-axis. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my slope is 3/4, which means I'm going to rise 3. I'm going to run 4. I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3. I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you could do more points if you want to, but you only need 2 points to graph a line. Now, please make sure when you write your line, it is very important that you put arrows on the end of each side. So see how I have arrows on each end? And that's because these lines continue. You could keep rising 3 and running 4 for forever. You could go on and on and on and on and on with that. Okay. You could keep doing that for forever, but we don't obviously do that because of our graph size. So that's why we put arrows on the ends of our line so this line could continue forever. All right, the last one I'm gonna have you guys try is, it says you try y equals 3x plus 4. I'm gonna pause the video one more time and have everyone try this problem. Okay, so for your slope, you should get on 3. So it's a positive 3, so we're going to rise 3. And if we need to, we can put it over 1, so we know we'd run 1. Our y-intercept is positive 4. So start by rising 1, 2, or going up 1, 2, 3, 4. I put a point. And my slope is 3 over 1. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3. I'm going to run 1. Rise 1, 2, 3. I'm going to run 1. And that's all I need. I can now graph my line straight through here. It is that simple. So this is a skill you're going to need over and over again in not only my math class, but in many, many math classes to come. So it's very important that you are taking your time, that you are doing this lesson carefully, go through the OMS lesson carefully, and that you understand how to graph a line in slope-intercept form, because it's not going to go away and it's a skill you're going to need over and over again. So please make sure that you understand this and that you don't make questions, do your lesson. And tomorrow we're going to talk about what do we do if it's not in slope-intercept form? How do I change it to slope-intercept form? Have a wonderful day, everybody, and good luck with figuring this out and learning it. Bye-bye.